Hello and welcome back to Scratch Your Farm Models. So today we are doing a different sort of video. So as you can see, I've already undone the screw so it just falls apart, and what I want to do is make a compact tractor. So you don't see too many of these in the sort of modelling world, but you see a lot of them in real life. So obviously how it is, it's made to look like a much bigger tractor than it is with the doors and the cab. So we're going to lose the cab completely, and then we've got to lose the steps because it wouldn't have steps, so we'll cut them off. It's also going to want respraying because having farm set on it doesn't really look the best, to be fair. So we'll pull this out, trying to not break it. I might reuse it, I might not. It all depends on how things go and how it ends up looking. It's a bit more difficult than I thought it would to get this out. So if I push that out, it should just slide out, but it's not. I'm starting to bend the metal, I don't want to do that. Might have to break off this top bit like that. There we go. So we're going to I think we're going to spray it red. I wanted ideally to have it looking like a Kubota, but I don't have any orange paint, so we're going to do it red. I think it'll look alright. We can have it as a Case International, and the wheel's already red, so it will go well with that. So we'll spray this in a minute. So what I do when I spray my stuff, I obviously do it outside, but I just cut myself a small bit of this stuff because it doesn't seem to fluff about as much as kitchen roll. And this is just the backing of the sticky back seams that you get, so I just keep that and use it, and it works quite well. So we'll get this sprayed. Before I spray it, I want to mask off these back bits because they're quite realistic. So what I'm going to do, it works out quite well that I can see it's pretty much straight through that masking tape. So what I'm going to do now is use a scalpel to cut around the lines. So obviously be careful when using any knives or anything. I'm just going to trace along the edges. Hasn't worked too well, I might need to put a new blade in it. So that hasn't worked at all, I'm going to try a different way. Alright, I've got it all masked up now. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. Bearing in mind I don't even know how well this is going to turn out. So we'll get it sprayed. I'll spray it outside and get back to you once I've done that. Right, so now we're going to get on with it a bit more. So I've thrown away the cab because there's nothing I can salvage off of it. Need to cut the steps off, so take the mudguard out of the way. It's quite handy that it just all falls apart after you take 2 screws off. So we're going to cut it about there, I'd say. Just take the steps off. So this might turn out to be an absolute failure, but the way I see it is it's worth a try. Angle the camera a bit more so you can actually see what I'm doing. So we can sand it down and tidy it up once it's on, but it's drying at the moment, so probably be tomorrow when I get round to start putting this back together. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave it for now. I've got a few other things I can get on with. The steps are there, then get chucked in the bin. So I'll see you back when I'm putting it all back together again. So as you can see, it's all put back together. It doesn't look too bad in my opinion. So I think I'm going to rebuild and do my own seat and everything, because it just doesn't look right. It needs to be further forward. So we're going to take that off and redo it somehow. I'm going to use the same steering column wherever it's gone. So we'll get that back in there. And then we'll build out the seat, so we'll get on with it. After putting the steering column in, it actually looks fine with that seat in. It's a little small, but it will work. Save having to try and read all this, which actually looks alright. So what I want to do is build a roll bar for it, so it looks the size that I'm trying to make it. So all I'm going to use for that is some cocktail sticks. So what I'm going to do is just use these cocktail sticks, and we're going to cut them with these snips to about the height I want. So about that will look good. Then an easy way to get anything the same height, just line them up like that, rest the cutting edge so it needs to be that way around against it, and just cut it off. Now they're the same height, so we can glue them in there. So what I'm going to do is screw all this together and then we'll start gluing it up. So now what we're going to do is glue in these for the roll bar. So it looks like, I thought that was supposed to sit back in there, but that rim that looks a bit odd is for where the cab used to sit. So I might try and dig the cab out the bin, cut the bottom rim off of it, and that'll fill the gap. But I'm not sure, it might just fill it up with lolly sticks or something. I'm just using Loctite for this. Try and get them as straight as possible. Not too bad. And now what I'm going to do is get a square bit to go across the top like they do in real life. They often have round poles going up, and a square bit going along the top. So I've sanded the ends on this to round them over. Now we're just going to glue this on top. That, and then we'll paint that. So down here, as you can see, where we cut the steps off, I'm just going to glue a piece of wood over it and then paint it. So it's finished now and I think it looks quite good. I'm really pleased with it. I'm a bit annoyed I missed a bit of painting there, but I can always go over that somewhere. The roll bar looks right on it, and I think it's a bit tilted that way where it got nudged when it was getting painted but still setting. It's not the best in the world, but it's still better than what it was before, I suppose, because I was just going to break it for parts. But then when I was starting to break it, I thought these axles aren't going to be too much good for anything because they're not really the right size. So I'm pleased that I've done it. I might still break it eventually, but for now it'll be fine as it is. So for size comparison, if we put the Kubota up against it, and the Kubota is a very small tractor as it is, so it's about the right size to call it compact. So it's turned out well. I'm pleased with it. So any questions you have, leave in the comments, and make sure you like, subscribe. I was looking at the analytics the other day and it's something like 70% of you that watch this haven't subscribed. Please make sure you do, it really helps the channel out, and see you again soon.